Welcome back to Class Culture. Happy Sunday or Monday. Both will be fun day. Thank you so much, my hearts of gold. Ah, the Sea of Galilee. Isn't that beautiful? Let's look at it one more time. Can you imagine being asked to leave? That's your workplace. That's their cubicle. That's the building they operate in. The fishermen of Galilee. And James was one of the apostles that Jesus chose to spread the good word. I don't know. It's gonna have to be something good. Like I live in the beautiful city of San Francisco. Like today, it was really, 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 really it fed my soul, put it that way. When you can see the ocean on a daily, when you can just touch it with your hand, when you can just, you bid farewell to people that come and go, when you do work in a beautiful, like, we have a community in San Francisco called the Marina, when it takes me 10 minutes to get there and you're just hanging out with like-minded people, whether they're, the hippie variety, whether they're the rainbow tribe, whether they're the techie culture, whether they're college students, whether they're retirees, whether they're veterans. We love our community. So you can imagine James, the fisherman, first meeting Jesus for the first time, believing in his purpose and his power, and leaving such a beautiful, 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 maybe not peaceful environment, but it is peaceful being by the water, the beauty. Now, being a fisherman and or a sailor is a tough job. I was in the Navy, but you're surrounded by like-minded people. And I get it. Can Again, let's just say you go to work tomorrow. Um, Shout out to the employed, and somebody taps you on your shoulder, tells you to get up from your cubicle and follow me. You won't be earning no money. You won't be living in a house. You got to leave your family. You got to leave your family. You got to live on the fringes of culture. The Romans were in charge. The Jewish people were the religious, let's just say, majority. You got to leave all of that and learn something brand new, and then spread the word after I'm gone. Yeah, that's a tough request. I don't think any modern human being would do that for you. They would stab you in the back, they would snitch, they would probably stab you in the neck, and they would throw the first stone. It was a different time back then. Yeah, so we're going to go over it. This particular word of worship is about James. Now, during this Eastertide 2023, happy Eastertide, I'm talking about the apostles. So James is up next. Down below in the description box is the playlist for word of worship and Eastertide. So catch up. If this is your first, welcome. Please subscribe. But anyway, on to James. And then I'm going to have to, because I think it ends May 28th. So we got time. I got the whole month of May. But I might have to do some extras because it's 12 of them. And this is only the third. And I know that means like 7 Sundays or so. I don't math that well. I'll figure it out and I'll add a few extras. Maybe this week I'll do an extra, next week an extra, and every Sunday until the end of Eastertide, you're going to get, you know, a word of worship about an apostle. And then we'll be back on to other topics. Yes. So if you're new here, thank you so much. Subscribe, share the video. If you are a content creator, if you are a viewer, supporter, subscriber, share the word. It is what it is. I Bible study, not every day, but I do. I found this really, 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 really good book in Ross. I'm going to share it on my next unboxing or shopping haul. I just got to get better at clicking the live. Well, I was just really busy this weekend. Shout out to 420 and shout out to Earth Day. It was just a very fulfilling weekend. Restful in some ways, but other ways, ooh, that's a lot of watch. San Francisco is a hilly place. Is that a word? Yeah, lots of hills, lots of ups and downs, lots of one-way streets, lots of walking, but it's all good and healthy. The weather was nice. I hope your weather was nice today. Um, we're about to go into a political shout out to the future and beyond. Thank you, Replay Crew. We're about to go into a really political situation. President Biden, shout out to the future and beyond. But right now, current time, he's about to announce his run again on Tuesday. And I'm going to get very active in real life, not on my YouTube channel, because I feel strongly about this one that we need to continue the task. I'm putting on my lip balm. I don't know about you, but my lips are getting chapped in this weather and this change. But it got a little warmer today. So I was freezing. When was it? Friday or Saturday? I don't know why. Tourists, they kind of look at you, but then they wish they had your fuzzy knit hat on with the pom pom on top and your long teddy bear coat, because that's what. And sometimes at night I wear my boots because it gets cold. hmm Like if you're a sailor or a fisherman on the water in the wind, and then the sun goes down and there's no warmth, it's cold. Yeah, so maybe that's why James had enough. And he said, "Yeah, let me go do this. I'm better at this." So that's what we're going to talk about. How he became an apostle, why he became an apostle, and how he was martyred. Okay? And we're going to talk about everything down below in the description box. And again, how many more do I have left? Because it was a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more. And James is interesting because you have to be very careful when you do your study and your research, because there's so many different James. There's a James greater, there's a James lesser, you know. There's two James that were apostles. Okay, James, son of Alphaeus. I think I pronounced that right. I don't know. We'll get there when I get there. But this James um, was the apostle James, the third in line we're talking about. So down below in the description box, we're going to look up Apostle James, Acts 12:2. Why was Apostle James beheaded? And then I kept going and going and going, and I had to stop myself because I found, what am I doing? Okay, I see. Because I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 webbies. And I said, okay, control yourself. Now, do I want to look up Galilee? Yeah, I've just decided right now. Galilee. There's a really, really, you'll see it in a video. I didn't have time to get to it, but I'll upload it. Where there's a whole of, I think it's the stern, I'm not sure, of a very infamous, I'll use the word infamous ship, wooden ship that was made in Benicia, California, and that sailed um, to and from San Francisco to Tahiti. And the hull is at Fort Mason. And I always take the moment and show it to my family members or whoever's visiting, because I just think it was interesting. And then inside myself, you guys, so you get good omens. I just felt all good inside. I felt like, the heavens above and the angels that surround me were just holding me and, tap me on my little Gigi darling head, like, good job. Because I'm about to talk about James, because he was a fisher in Galilee. And it didn't click at first. But then when I went to come do this, I said, oh, that feels good and warm and fuzzy. I'm on the right track. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me take that down. If you're new here, please and thank you, subscribe. Hit that notification bell at the same time you subscribe to the channel. And I'm finding a lot of people are confused. You also have to hit the notification, um, let's just say banner on each video that I post so you can be notified when I'm live. And I notice a lot of you are getting those, because a lot of people will say, I wasn't notified. Well, you're not going to be. You have to hit the notify me banner on each video, not just the bell on the channel. Get it together. Yeah, because I'm finding that as I'm maturing, quoting things in there, I'm already a mature person, but I'm maturing as a content creator, that we must educate you in the process of supporting us. And I don't have a problem doing that, but don't play with me because you know how to get around these YouTube streets. Some people are new, some people are not, but I will definitely guide you in that process. All content creators, if you're not a content creator and you're a viewer, and subscribe to everyone. That's the whole goal, is to help content creators. Okay. um I think it's I'll go to someone's channel and they'll have 2,000 subscribers, but they get 7,000 views. I'm like, well, what happened to those 7,000 people while you were there? Hit subscribe. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing. I don't play video games. I don't watch gamers, and they have 5 million views and 2 million subscribers. I'm like, over a video game? I'm sorry. I don't play. I never even bought games for my kids. Their dad did. I didn't believe in that. I went, no, I'm not gonna. I'm not. Mm-mm. And they're healthy for it. They play, but it doesn't consume their life. I see people in their 40s and 50s and even in their 60s, they play 10, 11 hours a day playing video games. I'm like, no, I'm outside looking at this. Yeah, we're going to get into our naturalist videos. Thank you for the click and the views for my video out on the ranch with Rhapsody and the vets. Yeah, just start getting used to it, Hearts Ago. It's time to pivot. Yeah, I'm not stuck in a rut, and I refuse to have a channel full of negativity. We're not doing it, especially when I'm over here talking about Bible. And I don't really want to call it Bible study, but I put in Bible study in the title because some people that I trust and are my cheerleaders and know that when I retire that things will be on track. They said, no, you need to go ahead and put it in the Bible. It is Bible study. I said, okay, fine. I just don't want people to think I'm over here preaching or thumping or telling you you're a sinner and all the stuff I hate about religion. I'm here talking about the things I love and the history and the logistics and the purpose and the cause and what it means to me. That's it. That's all. And then I click off, right? What I do over here, you don't need a physical church. You just don't. Okay. So, anyway, moving right along. What's the first thing? And I hope you had a good day. I know I did. Apostle James, Acts 12, 2, why Apostle James, and then I just wrote beheaded, and then I wrote Galilee. And that's down below in the description box. Okay. All right. So what's the first thing? And I'm really excited for the month of May. You just a little head start. I need my subscribers to watch all my videos. They are in chronological order, meaning I don't leave anything out of these. And then I'll jump right into Military Mondays, and then I'll jump right into Let It Rip Tuesdays, no matter what the topic is, right? Because it's going to evolve. So if you're waiting every Tuesday, you're going to miss the other 6 things that I said, and I'm not repeating it. No, ma'am. So what's the first thing? Apostle James. Because you have to be careful when you do your research that you are pulling up the right information. Here we go. Just making sure you're seeing what I see, and you really don't need me on the screen. Yeah, YouTube added a couple more options on how the layout, they call it cinema layout, and it was confusing the heck out of me. I kept hitting the wrong thing the other day, and that's okay. That's how I learn. Let's go. And then I can't see it, maybe because, I wear glasses, but I asked a friend, I said, pull everything up on your big screen. Oh, I'm buying a new big screen, you guys. And I said, can you see everything? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, you don't understand what I see. And they said, what do you see? And so I snapped a picture and showed it to them. They're like, oh, I see what you mean. I'm like, yeah, I can't see it. It looks teeny tiny. They're like, no, you're fine. So James the Great, also known as James, son of Zebedee, Saint James the Great, and then they say all these other things, was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. According to the New Testament, he was the second of the apostles to die. Okay? Who was the first? And the first to be martyred. All right? So that's all you need to know there. He also was the chief spokesman, which was interesting to me. I'm like, how did this? Am I talking about the same person? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I had to click live because I'm not going to be up all night. So I don't know. They say he was the chief spokesman for the Jerusalem church at the Council of Jerusalem. See, that's why you got to be careful. I don't know. I have to do more research. I have to wake somebody up and ask them. But I want it to be part of this video. James was beheaded by the order of King Herod Agrippa first of Judea. According to Spanish tradition, his body was taken to Santiago that word, okay, where his shrine attracts Christian pilgrims from all over the world. People still go there because his body, interesting, is still there. Okay, so that's the first thing that we learned about. I have the beach ball. There we go. About James. Now let's go straight to Acts 12:2. Okay? Wow. That was weird. Okay. So, percent. I don't know. I think they made some tweaks back here, you guys. It just looks different in my studio. Acts 12:2. All right. Herod Agrippa I, or the first, whatever, rulership of Judea and Samaria in AD 41, and he died in AD 44, which gives us the time frame of the first death of an apostle. At the most, this is 14 years after Jesus's ascension, Easter. And at the least, it's 8 years after. And calendars have always fascinated me. So he wasn't in charge while Jesus was walking the earth and or died, but he was in charge after and during the death of many of the apostles. Interesting, because there were so many of them. It gets so confusing. That's like calling somebody king. King from, 500 years ago. What king what? And king who? The first, second, third, and then is that their original name? It's very confusing. You have to be very careful when you do your research. Okay. So then I went down here. Who killed the brother of John with the okay, who killed James, the brother of John, with the sword in Acts 12:2? It was about this time that King Herod arrested some who belonged to the church. intending to persecute them. He had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword. When he saw that this met with approval among the Jews, he proceeded to seize Peter also. So he just went on a rampage, hunting these men down that helped Christ and his effort to spread the good word. Okay? So, which was, I don't know. If they were really thinking like they should have been thinking, they should have, in America, that's why I like to toot our horns. Freedom of religion. It don't have to be all of that. But I guess they were doing things that didn't match with the teaching of the New Testaments and what these apostles were saying. They were doing things that are wrong. One of my favorite movies to watch during Eastertide is Ben-Hur. It's my favorite. It's just absolutely my favorite. It was one of my mom's favorite. It's one of my favorites. I could watch it every day. Ben-Hur with Charleston Heston. Yep. And we physically went there. And St. Peter's is built on one of those, let's just say, horse, I don't know, tracks, horse racing tracks. And it's also built in near where they persecuted Christians, right? And I've been to the Colosseum, I've been to Rome. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Very it's like it's still surreal. My mother and I were standing there, and I have pictures and all that stuff, and I'll share that in the future. But we were just standing there like, are we really in the Roman Colosseum? It's just fascinating. And we were. So Acts 12 says, let's go here. Oh, I already did Acts 12. Okay. So I told you what it said. Why was Apostle James beheaded? We're not going to go into deep death and spirituality. We're spitting facts right now. That's all we're doing. All right. So why was he beheaded? The Acts of Apostles records that Herod the king, usually identified with Herod Agrippa, had James executed by the sword. And I don't know who that was, but they suggest that this may have been caused by James' fury temper. James' fiery, temper, meaning he was a hothead, in which he and his brother earned the names. And now I looked the word up and I listened to the pronunciation. Boanerges, or Sons of Thunder. Okay, so number one, Jesus recruited them. Number two, they believed him. Number three, they were on their task even after Jesus passed away. Number four, they had a thunder in their personality, in their chest, in their voice, and their purpose, and their spirituality, and their faith was strong already. These were Jewish people already. So yeah, that would piss some people off, right? And if there's other things I'm not sure what your, search engine is. Shout out to the internationals, but you can also see what the upcoming links are. These are down below in the description box, and the other topics, right? But that's not the whole story, but you can imagine. And here are some pictures. That you had to have a lot of let's just say tenacity to do what he did. Now this is a beautiful picture. We're going to revisit it. I love mosaics. Mosaics are in St. Peter's, and that's the first time I fell in love with mosaics. You have to understand, when I moved to Germany and we started traveling and going to these wonderful cathedrals, I was only 22, 23 years old. So I didn't know anything about mosaics. And the closer I looked, I went, oh, that's not a painting. It's stones and squares and triangles and pieces. And they're all in St. Peter's Basilica. It's beautiful. So the reason why I'm showing you this, why was Apostle James headed in the images, is because please treat your soul to some of these beautiful drawings, paintings, sculptures, um, just pieces of art, historical information. You can hit it and hit visit. Why was St. James the beginner's guide? So you can really go into depth on who they were and why they were. Here's another beautiful, sometimes they're, pieces of paper with drawings on them. It's just, they're very, iconic. We've seen these before, and they're absolutely stunning and they're beautiful. So even though some people just listen, some people actually pull out their Bible, some people actually study along with Gigi Darling, you can also entertain yourself with the images, the glorious art that comes along with these topics. You could just study the Bible through art. You really could. So anyway, let's do it. And again, he's considered the greater, whereas the other one is the lesser. And we'll go over that when we get to him, because I don't want to be all confused. I was getting confused. I was like, okay, it's time to step back and just hit live and keep it pushing. But anyway, Galilee. All right, so this is where they lived. I think it's important to get to know a person, and you get to know the person by where they live and what they do. This is where they lived, and they were fishermen. That's a very hard job. It's a very important job. I would suggest you go every day and go kill your food. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't. I would need somebody else to do that. So there's the picture I have on the backdrop, and here's the Sea of Galilee. It is literally a lake within the continent. Like I grew up in Michigan. The Great Lakes are lakes within the continent. You know, I've always been around water. I cannot not be around water. I have to see water, if not every day, every week. And sometimes once a month if I'm busy, if I'm busy. But otherwise, yeah, it won't be good. I won't be a happy person. I could not live in a landlocked. Like I could go visit Kansas, but I couldn't live there. No, something would go bad, right? But yeah, these are just beautiful pictures of Galilee. And I just thought it was interesting that you know, I find that I don't know if you look for signs or good omens and good karma or good messages from up above or angels down below here with us. But when things like that happen to you, it makes you feel good. It makes your mind, I don't know, it's like a burst of energy when you go, ah, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I know I did. But anyway, let's get on with the show. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 websites. So that was everything I wanted to show you. And I'm just making sure these are in a row. Yes, they are. All right. And we'll come back to the art when I close out the show. You can do, sorry, I'm focused. You can do, and I have to sneeze. I don't know why. Is allergy season happening where you guys live? It is here. Here it comes. Well, keep talking. It's right there in my nose. It's not the big C. It's not flu. It's just allergies. And I don't really suffer from allergies, but you can't not help being affected by it. And we were outside. I took pictures of some poppies. Poppies are really orange. I'm sorry. They're not red. We had that whole conversation too. And I'm like, that's orange. Get out of here. But yeah, but when you're outside, and I want to go, I don't know where I'm going to go next weekend, but I know that the wildflowers are blooming on the hillsides in California. So go outside, watch nature be nature. Go hug a tree, man. Yeah. So here's the first website that and I'm not going to put the banner up because it's kind of big. Acts 12:12. This is Bible Hub. They basically say the same thing, but everybody studies differently. And I wanted to revisit, because I haven't in a while, how there are different versions of the Bible, and that's okay because we are a very diverse culture as far as humans, and it's okay to have more than one choice and for understanding as well. So I get it. I don't really, I get it. I've studied theology for decades now, so I get what they're saying when they're saying it. Or I go hit one of the links up there where it will, you know, smooth it out more, where it'll make more sense in a more layman terms. It won't be written as it is in the King James version, because that was their dialect 2,000 years ago. It's okay to update it, modernize it, whatever. But for instance, the New International Version said he had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword. Okay. And here is another one, you know, where's the other one? The American Standard Version, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. Okay, so basically that they wanted to bring that home, that he was murdered because and why. Yeah, you know. And then over here, I'm pulling context. About the time King Herod reached out to harm some who belonged to the church, he had James, the brother of John, put to death with a sword. And seeing that this pleased the Jews, Herod proceeded to seize Peter during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay? Which was Passover prior to Easter. So there's some cross reference, which is very nice. I never really talked about this, but they do like to cross reference other Bible book and verses along with what we're talking about, which is Acts 12, sorry. Okay, so that's number one. Yeah, nice and mellow. I like having these conversations. It's what I'm doing anyway. I think it's important as a content creator to give content to the viewers regarding what you are about, not what anything else is going on. All right, so I'm just making sure I'm going to the right one. Here we go. Yeah, we had a good day. It was relaxed. Is this the right one? Yes, the right one. And I don't have anything else open. I'm doing really, really good. The next couple of 7, 8 days are going to be fast and furious, because May is going to be so much fun for me. And I can't wait. But here I was talking about art, and there you go with the unfortunate situation of his beheading with a sword. It's the executioner, and it is James, and it is very, very graphic. Okay. Yeah, very graphic. So it can go from beautiful to graphic, but that was a way to communicate what had happened, because a lot of people, believe it or not, HUGz were illiterate. They worked off the earth, or they had a skill, and there was no such thing as schools and kindergarten and elementary and middle school and high school. A lot of people didn't have skills. They were just whatever they were, and reading and writing. It's interesting. I hear people say that degrees don't matter, that education isn't important, stop bragging about what you've achieved. It's like, oh, okay, go back to the illiteracy times. Do you work on the farm? Do you not read books? No, it is very important, and it is very rewarding, and it is very and let's just say you cannot be a lawyer without a degree. You can't be a teacher without a degree. You can't be a scholar and be a professor in a university without a degree. So the people you send your kids to school every day don't need a degree. Stop. It is very important. These men chose to be fishermen, and then they chose to follow this person, this priest, you know, and he was taught. Yeah. A lot of people don't know. They speculate about the first 33 years of Christ, but there are scholars who do discuss the fact that he went to, you know, the well, they call it, what do they call it? What do the rabbis call it? I don't know. It escapes me right now. But yeah, he studied. He studied the Old Testament. So it says here, the last piece of information the sculpture tells us about the life of St. James, son of Zebedee, is that he suffered the martyrdom for Christ's sake. He was beheaded at the behest of King Herod Agrippa not long before Apostle Peter was arrested. Thus, St. James was the first apostle to die preaching the risen Christ. We know from the holy tradition that one of the guards who led James to the court was so impressed, listen to this, by his courage and words that he converted to Christianity and asked Apostle James to forgive him. The apostle paused to think and then replied, "Peace be with you," kissed him, after which they were beheaded together. Did you know that? Isn't that interesting? Just to witness the day you witness and meet this person, and you are guarding them and holding them in custody, you accept their message and their purpose and their teaching, and you lose your life on that day. Wow. That blew me. I was like, I didn't know that. And then we're going to revisit that again. All of these links are down below. So you can read the whole thing. We are not going to sit here and read the whole thing, obviously. Shout out to the day ones, the 1,000, 2,000. Welcome, new subscribers. You are in the family of the 3,000. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I'm super excited. I really am. So yeah, I didn't know that. I went, wow. Could you do that? Number one, we talked about, could you leave, right? The Sea of Galilee. Number two, could you follow somebody you just met? Number three, would you give your life on the same day? Yeah, a lot of people don't got that in them. Where do I have this picture? Oh, Lord. No. It's for something else. Yeah. Okay, so what's next? Yeah, these are very extraordinary men. Extremely extraordinary. The type of people I want to be around. And y'all, I don't know. I got to talk to somebody. Do you see what I see? Do you see a gold pointer? I'm like, what happened? What happened? Why is I did something where it's golden. I love it. And then when you go to point, it becomes Mickey Mouse glove, right? And then it comes back to the golden arrow. I said, "Oh!" Now, I am currently under construction. Yes, laser focus, and we are changing our marketing and things like that. But prior to that, remember you guys, I had the Saint, and you can see it on all my previous videos prior to the month of April. Because I had to figure out a transition month to put on my banner. And I miss it, but I don't. It's time. Every 3 or 4 years, you need to upgrade whatever it is in life. You really do. Not throw things away, keep it, but upgrade it, right? Not replace it, improve it. Mhm. What is a patron saint? So that that's just my jam. I love patron saints. So I just thought it was funny. Now I got the golden arrow because I don't have the golden picture of the saint on my banner no more on the page. But new things are coming. Newness is coming. So let's talk about that. Let's go back to basics. A patron saint is considered to be a defender of a specific group of people or nation. There's a patron saint for virtually every cause, profession, or special interest. For example, Saint Francis of Assisi is the patron saint of animals, and Saint Anthony is the patron saint of lost items. So there's a zillion. So they took from the pagan the many gods and let's just say incorporated patrons and saints into so you can't take everything away. You just upgrade it. You I don't know. You convince the followers this is what we're doing now because there's only one God, not many gods, but we can have many patron saints. So it was perfect. It fed the can you imagine thousands of years of traditions, thousands and some cultures still have lots and thousands of gods and idols. It is what it is. But for Christianity's sake, it was important in the process of converting. Oh, you cannot do all of that, but you can do this. So there's always a patron saint for something because the gods and goddesses were also, let's just say, overseers of animals, lost items, causes, professions, special interests. So it makes total sense to me. Patron saints are not specific only to Roman Catholicism, but are also particular to Eastern Orthodoxy, Anglicanism, okay, and some branches of Islam. St. James the Greater is the patron saint of both pilgrims and the nation of Spain, and his physical body is there. And we're going to learn a little bit later on where his head is. Isn't that bizarre? Okay. So what's the next thing? And we only got 1, 2, 3, 4. Why do I have that open? So 1, 2, 3, 4 left. Okay. Very interesting. And then please do more reading because that's a shout out to the street cleaner. You find out about their journeys, about their teaching, about where they went, who they were involved in, all of that good stuff. You can even find this. I was in a bookstore the other day, and I like to go up and down every aisle. And I said, "Ooh, let me go see if there's a book on." And of course, it was. And I was like, "Yeah, that's fascinating. There's books on each apostle." So there you go. But by on Thanksgiving, what is it? Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. For the next 12 years, you can buy a book on an apostle. There you go. On a local bookstore. And you can have your Bible and your 12 books. Very interesting stuff. Scholars spend hours and hours and papers and researching and archaeological situations and cathedral papers and libraries. It is so extensive. Education does matter. Okay. Not only did Christ have to educate these men about the new word, they had to go and turn around and spread it and help teach people. They also taught people, right? The downtrodden. Yeah, I don't even know what people mean by that stuff. So your school's not important, or you're saying school's only important from first grade to 12th grade. What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, that don't come near me with that nonsense, right? Yeah, they had to literally teach what was going on. Okay, capiche? So this is a good one. This is and I should have been saying the links, but you can see the links down below. This is the Britannica. I love the encyclopedia. I told you guys I grew up with the encyclopedia, the physical ones, in the bookshelves in the house with the dust and everything. I mean, yeah. Oh, I still have mine in storage. As a member of the inner circle, James witnessed the raising of Jairus or Jairus's daughter from the dead. So he's all in the Bible. He's all up and through. And Jesus's agony in the Garden of Gethsemane. Okay, we already talked about that. James and John asked Jesus to let them sit, one at his right and one at his left. Okay, so I mean, there's all types of references about him. A favor that Jesus said was not his to grant. James was beheaded, so he said no, and James was beheaded by order of that evil man, right? And according to Spanish tradition, his body was taken to that place, and people still pilgrim to that place every day. Okay? So they said there's letters in the New Testament and all the stuff we've already talked about, but there's more. But guess what? That's your part. All right? To do the rest. And of course, that's what I do too. Sometimes in the middle of the week, it'll just hit me and I'll just come to my video and I'll click one of those links and I'll read it. I'll read the rest of the article. That's one of my things too. I also make sure I read these articles before the next a word of worship. It's in my mind, it's in my soul, it's there. All right, three more, and that's we're almost done. Good. Yeah, I want these to be just an hour. Nice and neat. And even if you never crack open the Bible, even if you never click down below in those description box, hit that playlist and let them roll, let them rock and roll. Give Gigi that click in the view. Feed your soul. We need that. That's why we're doing it. We don't make these just for you to gloss over them or not watch them or not finish the show. No, we make them so it's a benefit. Yeah. Not only is it Bible study, right? See, I can get used to it. But it is also research, it's meaningful, it is educational, and it is historical. I mean, one of the biggest religions on planet Earth. Really? That's not your thing? Okay, it's mine. And I don't know why my computer is not charging. I still didn't buy a new charger. I'm being cheap. I should have bought it, but I kept the money in my pocket because we were staycationing and being tour guides. And I said, no, I want that money. And then I went to a Bath and Body Works and bought some stuff. Yeah, I sure did. I couldn't resist. SAS is in June. I find out. I'm taking you guys with me over on art and craft therapy. Almost said Queen Charming. No. I'm so excited about May. Yay. Okay, anyway. The Martyrdom of James. This is a ministry127.com. I really like this. I'm going to put it up here. They have categories, contributors, and researches. It is very engaging. Okay, so this is a good website. And here, no, I want to read the whole thing, but I'm gonna try not to. But I'm gonna try. James was the first apostle to suffer death. We said that. Herod took his head off. We said that. Okay. James's fate started when an individual brought charges against him before the tribunal. And remember the part where they said he was a little hot head? Well, yeah, he was probably rubbing somebody the wrong way. So they said an individual. I want to know who is that person, right? When the case was over, James had been condemned to death. The man who had instigated the trial was deeply moved by the behavior and countenance of the apostle. James was so filled with the Spirit of God on the way to his death. The one who had initiated the charges against him made a confession of faith in Christ. So was it him and the guard? Because before it said the guard, didn't it? See, that's why I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wait, well, two people died with him too? So that's worth further investigation, but I can't be doing all that on a Sunday evening, right? And I will, because I have the whole week to do it until the next one, or until I do my extra. But yeah, isn't that was it two? Or was it the guard? Was it the person that snitched? Then he felt away and he started listening to him and then he converted and he died with him. I mean, yeah, now I'm confused. But it's okay. When he asked James to forgive him, the apostle said, "Peace be with thee, peace to thee, brother." James kissed him, and both men were beheaded for their faith in 36 AD. A spirit filled life may lead to physical death. Isn't that interesting? How many people do you know would do all of that? I don't know a lot. I don't know. That's yeah, he's worth he St. James. hmm So anyway, next. Yeah, he's worth everything and a bag of chips. He sure is. So now this website is fun. It's Hill Walk Tours. And remember, I told you guys, hence retirement, hence becoming a full-time YouTuber. We're going to be doing lots more traveling out in nature. And Gigi Darling is going to be looking just like that. Going places with hearts of gold. And this is a great website. And I made it a part of this video so I can find it and come back to it and find where these places are. I would like to make a pilgrimage. I don't know where, so don't ask. But here they're giving an example of where his bones are, how you can get there, who he was. We already talked about that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a whole thing. It's safe. It's not really holy, thumpy, or religious. People go just to get there. And according to the accounts, the body of St. James made a long journey west. Okay, and that's where it is. After the death of the apostle, his body is said to have been taken to the Iberian Peninsula, and that means Spain, in a boat led by an angel. Did you know that? Yeah, and that's right here. Just to highlight it. In a boat led by an angel. So isn't that interesting? I was telling you guys about this boat that I'm just going to put a little upload of what we did. And it just sounds like this boat's journey because of its name and the fact that it was called Galilee and it must have been led by an angel. I couldn't imagine in the late 1800s and the early 1900s being in wooden boats going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We know it was a thing from 15 something and before. I'm just saying, because kings and queens and Europeans were into shipbuilding, right? And that same tradition came over to the Americas. So they got where they were going, but I couldn't imagine. I was in the Navy and I couldn't imagine. I still can't imagine. That's why I am just obsessed with, I call it the pirate ship that's over near the Presidio in Ghirardelli Square in San Francisco, and I just have to see it all the time. It just brings, if I feel like Captain Jack Sparrow is going to jump out of the water or something. I just love looking at relics and old wooden ships like that. It's just fascinating to me. And I can't figure out the correlation because I know my family tree and I know my family history and I know my connection to certain things. But when it comes to that, it's like, wow. Hmm. So, last but not least, we go to Bible talk and they talk about concerning their deaths. James was the first apostle killed and the only one other than Judas Iscariot, whose manner of death is known for certain. So, there you go, right? But I don't know about that because we know how Peter died. So when they say certain things, hearts of God, I'm like, wait a minute. We know he was no, and the other one too. We all know how they died, so I don't know why they said that. But they say for certain. I don't know. We learn to use our passion and zeal to serve Jesus. You should never, and this is just me talking, hearts ago. Let me come in. Let me come in. Let me come in properly. Let me see if I can do it. Okay. Boop. You should never. See. I'm so chill and relaxed. I'm going right to bed after this. See y'all when I see you. Click all those reminder buttons. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for viewing. I appreciate you whenever it is. Shout out to the future and beyond. But I'm just chill. I don't know why people. I guess because I've been doing it most of my life, having the conversation about scripture. I don't know. Why is that a problem? I don't know. It would I have gotten executed too? You know what I'm saying? Do people get so angry or mad that this is what I want to talk about? Yeah, they do. I don't care. Let the devil stay mad. But I love this website, you guys, because they talk about books. There's workbooks, there's teacher guides, there's audio books. So you can lay down, close your eyes, and go. Even if you fall asleep, it's the best sleep to have an audiobook in the background. It's the best. It's like, "You okay, girl." I love it. But you're also learning something at the same time. We learn to use our passion and zeal to serve Jesus. The word zeal indicates enthusiasm to pursue or fulfill a goal or desire. James was a man of zeal and passion. So I know we would get along. Adding further explanation why Jesus gave the two brothers the nickname Sons of Thunder. I had to end on that. I'm sorry. They must have been a handful. If Jesus named you Sons of Thunder, honey, you made it. You are in like Flynn, right? And I love these uh discussions because we're just talking about the people who actually were with him, right? Some people they have certain claims to fames and things like that, but it's like, do you actually talk about the actual people that were with him? I'm sorry, you know what I'm doing? I'm getting all my goodness all in a row so I can copy paste and so I can make sure that when I, yes, you are invited, come back to my videos, right? That it has the correct information and I did it in that order and I added a couple things and I cleaned it up and we are done. That was a word of worship, Acts 12:2, fisherman James from Galilee. Ask yourself, could you have just a 5 or 10 minute conversation about anybody about this topic? Why don't you take this topic and just choose somebody randomly during the week and just say, hey, did you know that at the same times Apostle James died, that his guard, you know, accepted Christ and died on the same day with him? Did you know that? Right? Did you know that him and his brother, they were sons of thunder and pissed off a whole king that was scared and had to chop their head off and they carried the body to Spain? Did you know that? That's a lot. Aside from what he actually did, right? It's a lot. And I don't know a lot of modern people with that type of commitment. I don't. What does that say about our modern times? I don't know. I'm a proud Eastern Star. I'm glad I find people in life that know me, that get me. I can have these conversations every day, all day long. It's just so chill. It ain't religious. It ain't Bible-y. It ain't thumpy. It's not even that. It's like, wow, let's have this. I want to have this discussion because sometimes we'll be sitting in a room. It's like, what do you want to discuss? And I'll just rate when it's my turn to raise my hand. Everybody has a turn. Sometimes I won't talk for 6 meetings, and then the seventh meeting I'll talk. I'll say I want to talk about this, and then in that process, someone else wiser, doesn't matter if they're younger or older, will also add to the conversation. It is so rich to be in a room. And it's not about like-mindedness. It's about cohesiveness. It's about prayer and um, spirituality. It's about purpose. It's about meaning. It's about serving each other, right? And then I feel really good, and then we're done, and then I go walk by the ocean. Life is good. Knock on everything. I'm blessed. So I hope that really helps you, whoever it is. Okay? I hope you, whether you're a content creator or not, and if you are a content creator, have the courage to have the conversation with anybody you want. I mean, I don't know. I'm just at that point in life where I feel good about being me, doing whatever I want to do. And that's the part, hard to go. I'm really, really, really excited about. And I'm glad that Jesus had those good friends, those men, the fishermen of men, those loyalists, those people who, after he died, they didn't go, "Oh, okay, he gone. We ain't gonna do that no more. It's too hard. They trying to kill me." No, they gave their whole life. I don't know a lot of people that would do that. But guess what? You don't have to, because they already did it. And people have them depicted in art. I love, love mosaics. Isn't that gorgeous? You can do it with paper, you can do it with beads, you can do it with crayons. You can do it with, you could cut up pictures and old photos. We're gonna do all kind of things on art and craft therapy. I'm just saying, but you can make that. If they chiseled little pieces of whatever they were using, stone, glass, beads. It's fascinating. Yeah. So shout out to James. You did that and you gave your life. And it was worth it, because here we are today in 2023, still having the discussion. Right? Thank you, Hearts of Gold. I appreciate you. I will be back next week. Who are we going to talk about next week? Let me look. Sure. Okay. John. His brother. A lot of the other characters are like, okay, they might have been known as the fiery, the sons of thunder and all of that other stuff, but yeah, all these other stories coming up is a mess. I'm like, whoop. And guess what? They were all existing together, all these different personalities, all these men, fishermen, adults. They weren't like young, and they already had lives and meaning and purpose and beliefs and stability and families and purpose. Stop looking for food every day and come follow me. They probably was like, "What? I'm hungry every 2 hours. What are you talking about?" And he fed their souls, and it made the difference to this day. So I appreciate you, Hearts to Go. We will see you when you see ya. Yeah. Go on and hit that subscribe button. Go on and hit them reminder buttons. Hit them replay crews when Gigi Darling is not live, because I appreciate you. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.